What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's up? So, listen, we're gonna have an adult conversation only for adults, okay? So, if you are of the age of an adult and don't act like an adult, you're not invited to the party. No food at the cookout for you. But, anyways, so listen, we're in the European New Year. So, whether it's the real New Year or the fake New Year, it doesn't matter. We're in a time of transition, extreme transition. So if you don't want to change your life, this might not be the video for you. So I'm going to title this video, One View to a Billion Views, or 1 to a billion, whichever feels more flowy. And I'm doing that because I'm trying to prove to the algorithm and to human beings that the only way for your manifestation to actually happen, you have to not care about it happening. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't really like, I'm not good at technology, and two, I don't really like the artificial world. It annoys me. So since I'm really not, and I say this because I make like legit videos that I know can benefit the world, but I don't care enough about it to change the world. So God told me, since you don't care about it, to not care can work in two ways, two dimensions. You cannot care enough to not do anything, or you can care so little that you do everything, because it really don't mean nothing, no difference to you personally. And that's where I'm at right now. So what's the point? What's the second point? Second point, identity crisis. When you're going through a transition of anything, whether it's baby inside the womb to out the womb, whether it's single to being a mother, single to being a father, single man being a father, single woman being a mother, any extreme transition will have you go through an identity crisis. That's why they call it postpartum depression. It switches who you are and your core, so you can't deny the change. That's what 2020 was. And most people went through identity crisis of self, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, religiously, any league possible they probably done went through. So I went through that myself. In 2020, I think I was 30. Now I'm 36. Huge change. The point I'm trying to make is this. In your future, since it's the new time, 2026, whatever you want, be honest about what you want and then go towards it. But don't care about it happening or not. Just go towards it like a child. Walk towards it like a child. You don't care. You just want to have fun. But be diligent in the don't caring to have the fun. Like you don't care, so it doesn't matter, but you still want to just enjoy the moment and have fun. It's not as hard as it sounds, because once you're in the zone, it's actually as easy as it sounds. But until then, it's going to seem like work constantly. And that's that. I'll give you a little story time. So part of my identity crisis before the new year happened, right? I had took out a melanated woman, dark skin, attractive, but in her spirit, not so attractive. So I took her out. She ain't had no money, and I didn't mind because it's life. But the fact that she kept posing like she did have money made me offended. And then she asked me for some money to go like to a party or whatever. Gave her the money because I felt ethnically indebted, because as melanated people, we're so problematic. We had a messed up past, a traumatic backstory. We should be superheroes. Traumatic backstory, right? So I always feel the need to like help out a black woman, even if they're wrong in their situations, because we didn't been through enough dirt to where we should, at every moment of life, try to feel joy or grateful, right? But inside, I felt resentment for her. So I'm like, a lot of times, when you hate, I won't say hate, when you dislike your position and then are attached to a position of likability or a connection of positivity. Basically, if you don't like who you're around, but the reason why you're around them is stronger than the reason why you don't, you usually stay. But it can build emotions that aren't true because you're staying for the wrong reason. Now, since we are of the same tone, I allow certain things of my own woman, if I could even call y'all that, or whoever's uh, watching this. The black woman isn't my woman, even though she should be. The autonomy that society has placed in her mind that isn't real. She assumes that she's her own individual. When God made Adam and Eve, he put us as a peer. So I am yours, you are mine for eternity. So when we switch that narrative, it builds a disconnect. After that night, I told myself, even if they're melanated, fuck it, I'm gonna do me. But I know in my spirit, we're bound for one another. So even me doing me, it's always just going to be a constant purgatory until we get this right. Right? And God said, do you? So I spoke to a bunny the next day. At work, mind you. She pulled up on me and she was very, very kind. If she wasn't any ethnicity that's not my own, it's not that I don't like you all. I like you all equally, but I'm bound to my own kind. So we was, chopping it up because the bunnies love me. I don't know, for the vibes or the connection or just the complexion. Who knows? Either way, I don't have to try with the bunnies, right? So we get to the clicking, and I asked for her number, and something in the energy of the spirit, she was on point with it. She said, "All right, boom." But I felt hesitancy. Her homegirl. Some white women don't like other white women talking to black men. They might not say it, but in their conscience, it's not to say that they don't like us either. They might like us equally, but they don't have the vibes or they don't have the connection. So out of white woman insecurity, it's like an unspoken. They don't, the one that can't get the man will alter the other white woman's potential to get it. So, but that was God working in his ultimate story, saying that you're bound to your own kind even when you step out. So the click never happened. She said, next time. I said, all right, cool, but I already caught the vibes. And God said, go back home. And then I was watching 227 on YouTube at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I saw like the beauty of our own woman, right? But it's because you have to, in order to get the love back, you got to look at everything in history. Typically, since we're in the present, our only visual or perception is of the present. So my anger is of the modern woman essence, not the collective backstory essence. Because the modern woman is annoying regardless of ethnicity. The modern woman, black woman, is extremely annoying because the what do you call it? The white man's contingency plan was to make us not do this when the time came when God would give us our freedom and spirit. Now that the time is that we're supposed to produce a better image for ourselves, we don't know how to connect. So I had to tell myself, I said, if you could choose a woman, right, of any ethnicity, God gave you any woman, what would you choose? And I had an identity crisis because I didn't know how to answer that. I was like, I really just, if the vibes is right, we can work. But it's bigger than that. It's in the blood. It's in the blood. The essence is in the blood. So part of me is only attached to my own kind because of pride, but also because I connect. A person, regardless of ethnicity, connects with their own the best because they're of it. And I knew if I had to mate or even date someone else, I would have to connect not only with them, but with their collective thing, which would be difficult. Even if they like the vibes, just the energy is not right. And this is physically, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, mentally. You just, not to say that interracial doesn't have a potential and probability of success, but your own enter. But what if it's interracial? Your own race will bind with you the best. So when I woke up the next day having those realizations, I woke up happy because I was resentful the day prior after all that happened. And God said that was a karmic test to see if you could find your true emotion about your own kind. Like, don't be around people, even if you're bound to them, if you're not gonna fuck with them. It's gonna build resentment. Get on with your life and find peace, not just within, but allow God to allow you to find peace with everything else until it starts to make sense. Because big peace won't make sense until you understand the baby steps of small peace. Because God not gonna give you big peace until you finish the mission. Everything is just minimal pieces of happiness, minimal pieces of peace, and then you go on to the next day, and then God says, "Do it again." I want you to constantly find ways to be at peace because this world is trained to destroy you. Satan has his ways, but he ain't stronger than God. He's not stronger than the supreme. Now, God, Satan is a god, but we all know he's not strong like that. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to make, the title was 1 to a billion. And I'm trying to tell myself and the world, when you're at peace with yourself and what you contribute to your own world, not the outer world, but your own world, no matter how big, no matter how small, when you're at peace with it, it doesn't matter what the number. Because I looked at YouTube and I was like, is it really the algorithm? Or is the robot trying to test my confidence? Or everyone, not just me, just anyone, kind of like self-reflect my ego. Does one view matter any different than a billion if you don't really be on YouTube like that? So try to be on YouTube. Because I had to ask myself, I said, if I can get paid on YouTube, hypothetically, would I do this? And my spirit said no. And I said, why? And my spirit said, because YouTube would be just a motherfucking new age job that the 9 to 5ers do, but you just be on the computer and you don't even like the computer or the phone. You know, I sound like a unk. I sound old. But though I'm very young. But the point I'm trying to make is that I want to be sovereign, self-controlled, other than God controlling me. But I want to have control over my physical world. I'm not about to be no YouTuber, even if YouTube said I could do it, because I'm not about to commit myself to a robot. I'll be my own, I'll commit to me. I'll be my own worker and boss, but not to a robot and not to a European ever again. But the point I'm trying to make is this. If you truly want something out of life, want it enough not to want it again. Now, let me make sense of that. Want it enough to gain the urge to want it and to do what it takes to want it. Then don't want it when you're close to wanting it so you can be in full confidence to have it again. Basically, live enough to live good and then die. Accept death to you. And then once death comes to you, admit that it is here. So then when death gives you life again, because that's resurrection or reborn, when you change your personality or behavior or yourself, you're not resistant to walking with the new self and leaving and ditching the old self. That's what I mean by have enough, build enough character to want to be something, or have enough will to make something happen. Better analogy, better example. If you're a man, have enough desire to have a woman, have a girlfriend. The girlfriend should evolve to a fiance. Fiance, unless you're in the hood, is gonna stay there. It should evolve. girlfriend, fiance, wife. Now, have enough drive to have a girlfriend. Have the will to have the character to make the girlfriend, a fiance and a wife if it's meant and if she's doing the work, right? And then once you're married, have enough peace in mind not to care about the difference between girlfriend, fiance, and wife, and ride the wave. And then by you being reborn into that state of not caring, what's going to happen is you're going to enjoy the marriage as if she's a girlfriend again, even through the different stages, because you've already died in the new. You've become unknown just to be known again in a different form. So what I'm trying to say is that if you want to recreate yourself, don't say, I want to be different. Do the work to be different, right? Do the work to be different. And then don't care about being different. And then that's when your difference will be seen or shown to the world. Because you lack the desire to even want it anymore. And that could be from empathy or apathy. Like, I used to just want comfortably, enough money just to live my life. God said not good enough. So I wanted these things and they weren't my truest desire of want. And God would just pull it back and say, do it. Give me, like, riddle me, and just give me a different riddle over and over and over until I get close enough to the real answer. Whatever you really want out of life, God already knows. You might not know the specific real answer, but you know the answer close enough. And he'll just keep you there patiently until you figure out what you really want, what the real answer is. So I say this and I say this to everyone, because she was a sweet woman, the Becky and the Bunny and that was at the job. And I say this to any ethnicity. If you have any type of empathy for the melanated race, know that we are a broken people based on what you all did, and others, because whites ain't the only one that have harmed us. But the point is, the past is the past, because the new age has already started. Do you still want to be in the image of someone that doesn't care, that lacks empathy? So the Black issue is we're bound to one another, but at the same time, do I want to stay in a circumstance of discontent? So with the white woman, I want to say to other ethnicities of women, there is beauty in everything that God creates. But what other beauty is there better than the purest beauty? The purest beauty is of a kind that do this together without mixing. Like, the whole interracial thing is not a real thing. We created that concept because we're at a disconnect on all levels, even within. That's why interracial is even a thing. Back in the day, they used to call it tribal. It was just two different tribes. You know what I'm saying? And you were supposed to stick within the one tribe to make it bigger and stronger. That was the initial purpose. Now we're going back to the beginning. And it's not by choice. God is making us do it. So I want to say this. If you are a melanated out there, maybe you might be similar to me. It might take a long time for you to find your own tribe within your own tribe. It sounds redundant, but it's not. You might just be a unique individual in your own world. There's a lot of white people that like Black people. Genuinely, I don't know if it's fetish, but some of them that I have met in this world really be like, I don't click with the whites. I think I'm meant to, be with y'all. That could be a thing. I met Asians like that, Hispanics like that, where they just rock with the Black side better, or with the melanated side better. It's a yin and yang world. The only true ethnicities, I won't say true, but the only true forces that are at bat in the yin and yang of life is us and the Europeans, and everyone else just pick sides. But what I'm trying to say is that the only way we're going to become true in the new world is if we go back to the beginning and do things the right way. No more mixing. We need to segregate in order to integrate, not to integrate while feeling like we need to segregate. We need to genuinely segregate, get our things back to the way they're supposed to be, and feel at home with yourself. And then you can integrate and be with smiles on your face, because everyone got it. unless you feel a certain type of way about it. You hear what I'm saying? Like, in order for us to heal as a collective planet, we got to reset and go back to the beginning, how it was supposed to be, whatever that means. You know what I'm saying? God going to make us see it how he wants to see it eventually. But too many tangents. Point I'm trying to make is this. In your life, go with your heart. Go with your heart and then ask God for reassurance. Now, if I did marry any other ethnicity other than my own, would I feel bad? Yes. Would it last? No, because I would have to make peace with my new world or new reality. Do I want my children to look like me? Yes. Will that be my fate? Only God knows. My hardest thing to admit as a man that is prideful was that my children may not look like me fully. Now I'm at content. I'm at peace with that. Do I still want them to look like me? Yes. But to have someone look like you that is dysfunctional, I don't want that. I'll take the L if that's my end. Because I don't want a bad version of greatness just because I want it to look like me, just because I want it to have the same image as me. If the image is distorted, I don't want the image at all. Depart from me, you can go over there with Satan. If the image is not, at a certain caliber, I don't want it. And that's where my pride had to die. I don't want a black child. I don't want a melanated child if it's not the right way. I might as well just be a monk. It is what it is. But if another ethnicity comes towards me, I'm not going to deny it like I used to, because I'm giving favor to something that doesn't favor me, and that's just confidence. That's just self-worth now within that I'm willing to admit, because I felt bad about it for many years. I felt ashamed about it. Even though melanated women don't give me love like they should, we're not owned anything. I'm not, that's not the way I live my life. But should I get some love? Yes. But that's just the way my storyline plays out, to see how much devotion I had. So my whole life, I never got the vibes from my own kind, but I got the vibes from the bunnies though. But it's not the same though. It feels different. And who doesn't want to go back home? Even the abandoned children, even the foster children, the abandoned children, any child, any person should always want to seek home, whether you like it or not. We're bred to seek home. All of us. The good ones and the evil ones. We're all bred to seek home. And it lives within us. It's in our blood, in our genetics. So, but the point I'm trying to make is this. The less you care about the flow of life, the better it goes. So don't try to put too much effort controlling your outcome, because whatever is meant to happen will happen the way it's meant to be. And your ultimate you wants you to be the best you. So certain circumstances might not end up the way you want them to, because in your spirit, in your soul, you wrote a story already. And many of your actions are negating the route of your true soul. So yes, one view to a billion. Let's see how it goes.